What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, let's talk about that Amari Cooper. So this is going to be a new series where, honestly, I don't really care how many views it gets. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I don't really do a lot of video series for views. I just think that good content will bring people around. And I know mock drafts generate the most anyways. It's the most fun thing for me. But when I do new video series like this, USFL, stuff like that, interviews, I know it's not going to get a lot of views, but I want to give you guys fun, good content. And I want to just talk about some destinations for Amari Cooper, trade-wise or just cut. I think the trade destinations still could be targets for if he gets cut. So let's talk about it. We have all the teams right there, but let's talk about it. Jaguars, Patriots, Falcons, Dolphins, and Bears, I think, are the big players here. You know, a lot of them are looking for a number one wide receiver, or very well might be looking to move off of one wide receiver for another one, just because of the fact that, well, when you think about it, it's just kind of what you need to do as an organization to remain relevant. Now, again, the amounts are just there as a good hypothetical. Again, we're just talking about it. This isn't a legitimate saying, hey, this is the exact amount. But given the fact that the Cowboys might release him, it's probably not going to warrant the first round pick that he was drafted for, or that he was taken from the Raiders for the Cowboys. So let's talk about it. Jaguars, I think that second round pick, I think it's a high second round pick, could be good enough. Again, Amari does have a heavy contract, but it's a team with a lot of cap space. It would also save you from having to pay DJ Shark similar, possibly money. I hope to God you wouldn't have to pay him it, but it is definitely a contender if they do not decide to stick with DJ Shark, and if DJ Shark wants to jump his money. So definitely something where if you want to be able to free up some cap space, it does give you a legitimate number one wide receiver who's an amazing separator, arguably one of the best wide receivers to ever come out of college. Patriots are another one, a team that could I could see him so on the Patriots. They have a later second round pick, so I think you'd have to send a little bit more. So a second and a fifth should be able to acquire him. You know, it's another team with enough cap space or enough maneuverability to be able to free up the cap space for him. Again, you're getting Alabama quarterback and Alabama wide receiver, and Mac Jones did really well with Devontae Smith, who could separate at a high level. I think Amari's starting to get a little bit underrated here because we saw him get paid extreme, like number one wide receiver in the league money, and we've been expecting that from him, and I just don't think that's exactly fair. So again, because the market sets a price, not exactly the player talent, I think the Patriots could be a good spot for him. I really do. They're willing to spend money. We've seen that. And if they're going to be looking for a wide receiver, well, if you're able to spend that first round pick on something that's a bigger impact, like a linebacker or a more guaranteed selection, then I think that'd be a really good use because, again, you do have enough cap. You're on a rookie deal. Use the money you'd pay a rookie quarterback to bring in a high-level wide receiver. We've seen Patriots in the talks for trying to maybe trade for Calvin Ridley, who's talking about next. So the Falcons could honestly trade a second round pick if they want to, because they do have two of them. And maybe they'd have to give up like a sixth round pick as well, just because it's a little bit later than maybe the Jags pick here. But regardless, I think Calvin Ridley has that value of a second round pick and it's flying around. So I think that two players who could be worth it definitely are a good option. And with the cut scenario down here, he's going to free up $16 million. With the situation that the Cowboys are in cap wise, and the fact that they're going to be potentially losing Cedric Wilson and as well Michael Gallup, it's a good way to remain relevant for a year, stay under the cap, be able to give Calvin Ridley a bigger contract if he does perform, or franchise tag him, whichever one you please. And it just allows the Cowboys to keep relevant. You have CeeDee Lamb there. I think Calvin Ridley could be a number one producer as a number two. CeeDee Lamb can take that step up, or Calvin Ridley could become the number one. Again, you just want to be able to get the right value. Instead of getting a third round compensatory pick in like a later year, at least get somebody who can actually be an all-star, which I know Calvin Ridley, given support, could definitely be. Dolphins as well, I think they're looking for a true number one receiver. And, you know, Tua used to have Devontae Smith. Looking for someone who's a really good separator could be exactly what you need to fully unlock his potential. Even if that ceiling isn't that high, we could still see him take a big step up with Jalen Waddle as well as Amari Cooper there, especially if you're starting to think about losing Mike Gesicki. It's going to be a big vacancy in terms of targets, and that's going to be a really good spot. Bears, of course, do I need an explanation for this? I don't think I do. Justin Fields also, Chris Olave was one of his best wide receivers. And unfortunately, running a 4.39 might be pushing him away from the Bears, so to speak. Because again, I was projecting 4.45. He went 4.39, which is still phenomenal time. And, even if he did 4.45, it would be hard to see him going to the Bears, but good players fall. I think that getting a good separator could be exactly what he needs, because as he's still developing as a processor, it's very easy to throw to a target that's more wide open. And the Bears, with the right cap realignment, definitely could make it happen. And of course, cutting, we see that it's going to be saving $16 million. So whichever way that you go, I think it would be a phenomenal option. Again, I think all these teams could really benefit from it. Most of the teams should be able to at least easily afford it. And I think that Amari Cooper could actually have really productive seasons on most teams. Maybe the Bears and Dolphins, it's not as successful, just because, again, the Bears are more run heavy. And then you see the Dolphins that, the target share usually goes to larger receivers. But I think the tide could turn with that. And those top three options are probably my favorite, along with the bottom one. Well, he'll probably get cut, but we'll see about it. We've been seeing a lot of trade rumors and stuff, so I would be very happy with that. You could even toss in the Ravens here. So I know the Ravens, and we're talking about trading. Apparently, I've heard the rumor that Marcus Peters for Amari Cooper, along with a pick, not Amari in a pick, but Peters in a pick, has been thrown around. Obviously not a legitimate source, so don't trust it. But that definitely could be another option as well. I think that Amari has kind of lost his spiff in terms of the hype that people have for him, because he was on a very publicized team and they just haven't performed, and he's been paid a lot of money. So usually when that happens, it doesn't end well for the player. So I think that regardless, I think these options would be phenomenal. I would not want him on the Ravens just solely because, one, I'm a Steelers fan. But two, I just think that even compared to the Bears, there's so many targets there that are really solid separators. A bigger wide receiver, I think, would be the best option. That's why Rashad Bateman last year was a really good one. You could see Christian Watson being another really good one, very fast, deep threat out of North Dakota State. So we'll talk about that when we do the Ravens video, which should be coming out, honestly, possibly today, because your boy had to cancel his haircut appointment. It hurts. But I'm going to get closer to my birthday, so save up that cashola. You guys know what I mean. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys do enjoy this series, because it's honestly something I want to do a lot more of, especially when there's smaller content like this, where I don't really have the time to build an entire deck slide for every single offseason free agent. And you guys know me. I like to be able to at least provide something in terms of that. So you guys know what's up. You do. I'm in school right now as it is. You have guys like Goathouse and Broshma that do this full time. So it's a lot easier for them to do it than me. That's why I'd heavily recommend looking at them. And as I continue to get more time, as I continue to make the slide decks, it makes it a lot easier to build new ones with the copies of the old ones. So I had to build this one from scratch. Still didn't take that long. So very happy to be able to continue this series, because it makes it nice and fun and simple. And more importantly, this is going to be dropped as a podcast as well, because this is mainly talking about stuff that you don't need to see a graphic. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.